Okay, so I've been talking about the MLB Trade Deadline, which is coming up in about 5 weeks, or a little bit more than 5 weeks, and some trade proposals and ideas and so on and so forth. I will be doing my predictions as well, and I've even talked about appealing trade options potentially for the Yankees, and who might represent good fits and might help solve some problems. I mean, because the fact is, they need another left-handed bat or a couple left-handed bats to balance out their ridiculously right-handed lineup. They need lefties who can also hit lefties who can hit righties, like just lefties who can hit across the board, and guys that drive in runs, guys that manufacture runs, guys that bunt, guys that move guys over, like all that type of stuff that they don't really do now. They need. They also need another starting pitcher because, with the exception of Cole, Herman looks like he's running out of steam. And Tyon, I think we've seen his best. He's just a mediocre starter. Kluber, we don't know what the hell we're going to get from him when he comes back. And, Luis Severino, obviously, just has another setback. So, who do we have, aside from Jordan Montgomery, that's reliable or somewhat reliable? And this is where they're lacking, and this is where they need. And I've said it for months now. Not only do we need another starting pitcher, I thought we needed a six-man rotation for the specific reason of it's going to be really hard for guys to go from not pitching at all for a year or two to going up 100, 140, 150, 160 innings. It's not realistic. Okay? And look, with the exception of Cole, who's going to throw them in innings? I don't know. Maybe Montgomery. Maybe. But we'll see. But nevertheless, we know that they need a pitcher, and they need some left-handed bat. They need some versatility, some guys that manufacture runs, move guys over on the bases, hustle, play multiple positions, give Cashman some options in the lineup to be a little bit more creative if he's allowed to. I don't know why. Who knows what the hell they're letting him do and not letting him do. But these are four guys I think they should avoid at all costs. Do not trade for these guys at the deadline. Okay, number one, Starling Marte. Okay, I know people have talked about him. He's an attractive hitter. He's solid. I mean, he's batting .320 this year, 5 home runs, 16 ribbies, and 10 stolen bases. So, I mean, all in all, pretty solid. But let's keep in mind, he's going to be 33, okay? And his contract ends, his contract expires at the end of this year, but it sounds like he's going to be a pretty pricey player. And I don't think he's going to represent the right value for the Yankees. And it doesn't help balance the lineup because he's also right-handed. So, what's the point? Okay, we can get another right-handed hitter who can give the same production and won't cost as much, or it can give the Yankees a couple extra years. And they also have right-handed hitters coming back in Lou Voit and some of these other guys. So we don't need another righty who plays the outfield. I mean, we have guys that we can call up to play the outfield. So I think, to me, the Marlins would be better off getting a piece or two from another team who has a bigger need for Starling Marte. The Yankees do not. So I would avoid him. Number two, Brandon Belt from the Giants, first baseman. People have mentioned him as well. He's a lefty hitter, and he's pretty good plate selection and stuff like that. But he's also older. He's also 33 years old, and it also, if you bring a guy like him in, it kind of crowds the first base DH positions up with, unless you're moving Gittens, but you have Voit, you have potentially Gittens, right? Those guys. You also have Stanton and Judge are going to need some DH reps too. So exactly where is Brandon Belt going to play? I mean, when's he going to play? And who are you going to have to sit for him? And I get his right-handed bat might play well at Yankee Stadium, but I just don't see him being the fit here, or at least right now, because there's too many guys at these positions that it just wouldn't make any sense. I think they could find some better fits that are left-handed bats or even switch hitters. And again, a good player, but just not the right fit here. So I don't see the point in trading for him. Number three is somebody who I might get some flack here from people, but Trevor Story. I don't see the point. Okay, yeah, he's the sexy pick, the trade deadline pick of one of them. But again, he's going to be ridiculously expensive as an acquisition itself. He's going to be ridiculously expensive to re-sign in the offseason. He's also right-handed, so he doesn't help solve the Yankees' balance problem in the lineup. And again, what are you going to do? You're going to move Sanchez? I don't see the point in trading a 25-year-old with 4 more years of team control for a guy that's going to be 30. He's going to cost $200 million. If in my opinion, if they're going to make a move, at some point you trade Voit, you move DJ to first, you move Torres the second, and you sign Corey Seager to play shortstop. He's a left-handed. He's 27 years old. He's younger than Story, and he's left-handed. We don't need another right-handed bat. Okay? And again, yeah, he would be a valuable piece for pretty much any contending team. And I think some team is going to overpay for him, even a team that's going to be going for it this year. And I just don't see the point for the Yankees to have to do it. It creates more issues than it solves. And again, there's another player from there. I'd rather be going after Herman Marquez, but starting pitcher. But he's obviously going to cost a boatload too. But I don't see the point in going after Trevor Story. Another team can overpay him. Now I don't think the Yankees should. If the Yankees are going to flip assets, it should be for a Cueto Marte. It could be for a Brian Reynolds. It should be for a Herman Marquez, a controllable starter, something like that. That's when you flip, your some top assets. Trevor Story I avoid. And again, he's a great player. He's going to be a great player for somebody, but it doesn't make sense in New York. Okay, and last but not least, and I've heard this guy too, is Brandon Belt's teammate in San Francisco, Johnny Cueto. And yeah, he was great when he was with the Royals, and he was much better than several years ago. But this is 2021, Johnny Cueto. Okay, he hasn't thrown more than 140 innings since 2017, so he's no longer the Johnny Cueto. And by the way, he's making $21 million this year. Whatever prorated it would still be almost $10 million, and then he's making $22 million next year, 2022. So, and he hasn't thrown 140 in almost 5 years. So, to me, I don't know why some people are mentioning him. I just don't. A nice guy. Yeah, I'm sure he's great dude, and he was a great pitcher for a while. And but not now, not at this price. I don't see the point. Yeah, the Yankees need a number 2. They need another depth pitcher. But again, he represents the same problems that a lot of the other Yankees starters are having, the inability to stay healthy and be consistent. We need somebody who can throw reliable innings on a regular basis and give the bullpen a chance by keeping him in the game. That's it. He is not that guy anymore. So, and again, just like these other guys, yeah, I'm sure he's some team might invest. I mean, I think it's going to be hard for the Giants to move him unless they're eating half the contract, but I don't see him as a fit on the Yankees. I think the Yankees, if they're going to, get somebody, again, you go after Marquez, you go after a left-handed starter with controllable years, just somebody reliable who can go in and give them innings on a regular basis. Even if it's 6 innings every time out and 3 runs, I would take that any day of the week. Johnny Cueto, again, does not represent an upgrade or that much of an urgent need for the Yankees. Okay? And I think, again, the Giants are going to have to attach a top prospect probably or eat half the contract in order to get a team to take him. But other teams, I think, can find more use for him than the Yankees would. Not at this point. If they want to compete in their division, they need another starting pitcher who can throw innings consistently on a regular basis. Keep him in the game. And who isn't 35 years old. So, these are the 4 players I would avoid at all costs for the Yankees as they approach the trade deadline. And again, let me know what your thoughts are. If you have other players you think they should avoid, put them in the comments down below. What are your thoughts about these 4 players? And again, there's a lot of, and I've heard chatter about all of them. You obviously hear the most chatter about Trevor Story. Oh my God, the Yankees need Trevor Story. No, they do not. And they're actually starting to play better. Some of the, they're heating up in certain areas. They don't need Trevor Story. The needs are still the same. Left-handed versatility in the outfield by multiple position guys. More athleticism. Guys who move guys over, guys who steal bases, guys who things that we're not doing. They need. None of these guys on here do the things that they need done. Reliable starting pitcher. So I think they could do better. And again, with the exception of Jason Martinez, the Martian, I think everybody's up for grabs or should be available at the deadline, even if you give up a robust bundle of guys for Cueto Marte, it will be worth it. It'd be worth it. You do a blockbuster. If you can imagine getting Cueto Marte and Zach Gallen, young controllable starting pitcher, that would be a huge blockbuster. They would have to give up a freaking fortune for it, but represents the 2 biggest needs for several years. and then not have to worry about it next year. And next year when they bring in patchwork guys, because they're going to have to do the same next year. Because if Taillon doesn't, or Taillon's back because he's got another year on his contract, but like if Kluber doesn't come back, they got to replace Kluber. So, and at this point, I don't know if they're going to do that because he's not healthy. He's going to miss half the season. So, and if Taillon continues to be kind of unreliable or just very mediocre, they're going to try and bring in another starter either way. But look at the free agent class next year. It's not that sexy. Maybe they can get Justin Verlander on a high, a low risk, low base with a lot of incentives contract, and he can see if we can get some darts out of him even in the bullpen or whatever as he comes back from Tommy John. Might be worth a flyer if it's low cost, low risk. Max Scherzer if possible, but I think the Nationals can trade him and re-sign him as well. So he's going to cost money. But who else is available? That's not under team control for several years. It's not really that robust. So this is the time for Cashman to make a trade for a controllable player or a couple of controllable players so that he's not having to worry about this stuff every single offseason and getting beat by teams every single offseason for guys that he could have potentially brought here. So, but anyway, these are 4 guys I think I would avoid. Great guys. I would just avoid, not the right fits here. So let me know what you think, guys. And look out for my recap. Garrett Cole's on the hill against the Kansas City Royals tonight, so we'll see how that goes. Talk to you then.